Regardless of whether you were a pro or against, the fact that a vote had been taken and then the people that didn't like the vote said we should re-vote. And everybody was saying, but you can't re-vote just because you didn't like the result.
Okay, I didn't like that. Let's do it again.
Yeah. And then everything, cool box and everything else. And we kept saying to my mother, this isn't normally how you go to a pop concert. You're normally down there with the plebs, And then just before the interval, Douglas came up on stage and was playing. And Mum was jumping up and down, waving her jacket around. And we said, but he can't see you. I don't care, that's my son down there. But the funny thing was they were a bit concerned about Douglas doing this because during the rehearsals he always managed to finish about a bar and a half ahead of everybody else. He was so nervous. But he was left-handed, and as I say, when he realised you could actually buy left-handed guitars, as is wont, he sort of got slightly over-enthusiastic and bought Over the Time 26. He was left-handed and Dave Gilmour is right-handed. So Douglas used to keep a right-handed guitar at his house for when David came over so they could play. And David Gilmour kept a left-handed guitar at his house for when Douglas went over there. Yeah.
They were really friends.
Yes, they were very good friends.
Yeah. Really close friends.
Yeah, and at the virtual party, which we had for Douglas's 60th, the house band was Wix Wickens, who is the keyboard player and musical director for Paul McCartney. Robbie McIntosh, who is a great friend of ours, who also used to play, he was originally with the Pretenders, and then he played guitar with Paul McCartney. He's one of the UK's best known brilliant guitarists. He's just done a tour with Tom Jones. There was Gary Brooker, who was Whiter Shade of Pale, Procol Harum, yeah, he was in that. Then we had a really good guy on the drums, and there was sort of this rumour going around that David might turn up, and we didn't confirm or deny it, we just and anyway they were playing, and then right at the end he started playing Whiter Shade of Pale, and Dave Gilmour came on stage and the whole place just went mad. So the ending of the whole event was them all playing Whiter Shade of Pale, which was one of Douglas's favourite tunes with David Gilmour, and it was just phenomenal. I mean, talk about a house band. I mean, yes. That was absolutely brilliant. It was lovely. So he definitely loved music, and he had this, called it an unplugged concert in his sitting room. And again, he had all these people that I've just spoken about. They were all there, just playing acoustically in Douglas's front room, which was, quite a big front room. And in the audience, there was just the Salman Rushdie was there. There was just so many famous people just sitting on the floor, crunched like this, just watching this band play in Douglas's front room. He just loved music. He really did love music. And science and technology.
Yes.
And conservation.
Yes.
And people used to say how come he knew so many people from all these different walks of life. And it was because he was interested in all these walks of life. He really was genuinely interested. It wasn't a passing phase. He was one of the founder patrons of Save the Rhino, which we still support. Very much so, and the lectures that we do every year is in aid of Save the Rhino.
He actually dressed as a rhino.
He did. It got told that he went up Kilimanjaro. He didn't. He was on the flat bit.
Oh, okay.
He had to get back. That was his excuse. But in those days, the rhino suit was incredibly heavy and sweaty and whatever. But they run the marathon, the London Marathon, in these suits. I mean, the new ones are much more lightweight, and I quite often go along and help and support them. And Save the Rhino have about 50 runners, and for the last few years, 15, 16 of them have been in these rhino suits. And one year when I went along to help, somebody came up to me and said, "Has a rhino gone through yet?" So I said no, and he said, "Oh, thank God." He said, "I don't mind about my time as long as I'm not beaten by a rhino." And then James, my younger brother, in honour of Douglas, he did a few years ago, he actually climbed Kilimanjaro and he got to the top. And he did that in memory of Douglas. Because Douglas never quite did it.
Someone did for him.
Someone did it for him, yes, James. He trained so hard for it, and bless him, he did it. And that was a hell of an achievement.
And you were saying his favourite book was The Last Chance to See?
In writing, that was his favourite book.
Yeah.
Yes,
Tell us about the book, please.
He found writing quite difficult, but Last Chance to See, well, as they said, he got approached by The Observer, which is a newspaper in the UK, to go and do this story about the eye in Madagascar. They mentioned it earlier on in the thing. And Douglas honestly thought it was a mistake, so he thought it was such a brilliant idea that before they could change their minds, he accepted and said, "Yes, I'll do it. And this just opened up his whole life and world to this conservation thing, and he and Mark Cowardine got on incredibly well. And so when they came back from that, he said, "Why don't we do a big series of this? You know, let's go around and look at all these endangered species," which they did. And I think because it was a subject that he was so passionate about, it became easier for him to write about it. And he loved the whole experience. I mean, there's part of it that I remember Mark Cowardine said when he first met Douglas. He was quite, you know, he was this famous person used to 5-star hotels and book tours and everything else. And he said, and I'm giving him a hut to sleep in with a concrete floor. He said, I felt as though I wanted to go and puff up the concrete a bit, you know, to make it a bit more suitable for Douglas. Having seen and read some of the things of Last Chance to See, I kept thinking, did Douglas really do that? That doesn't sound like Douglas, you know. Thought he was a bit of a wimp in some areas, but no, what he did was great.
I never had the chance to read it, but
You must,
definitely.
you must. And it's got lots of pictures and stuff in there as well of some of, you know, Douglas and Mark doing these things. We did a second series which Stephen Fry did at the BBC. No, that was his favourite book to write. He found the others quite difficult.
Do you think there's any chance to the second movie happening? Or
I very much doubt it.
No?
I very much
Or a TV
doubt
series.
it.
or a TV series? Like Dirk Gently?
Yeah.
Now it's not on Netflix, so...
I don't know. They are talking about possibly doing another series in because you know America have been doing it Dirt Gently. I think there might be something there. I think that might be happening, but there won't be another. I don't think there'll be another movie. The thing with the movie is Douglas wrote a script for just about every movie house in America.
Yeah.
He went through them all, but when he was alive, he wanted too much influence, and a lot of the movie houses wouldn't do that. Disney, because a lot of people said the movie wasn't true enough to Douglas,
Yeah.
and lost a lot of the Douglas bits of it. But they said that they had to make it as a family entertainment film,
Yes.
not a cult film, which meant that they wanted certain things in there or not in there. There are a lot of the purists who said, but it wasn't Douglas.
People are more fan of the TV series.
Yes, I think so. But there's a lot of people that still think they prefer the radio because it's all in here.
Yeah.
It's your imagination
And it's
that
amazing
does
how
it.
good it is. I heard some parts of it, radio series. It's
Yeah.
really good. It's really amazing, and it's really easy to imagine
Yeah.
all the scenes and
Well,
all
that
the
was
situation.
it. Yeah. I mean, my grandmother, bless her, she used to phone me up the next morning after every series and say, "Can you explain it to me? I want to sound all knowledgeable." I didn't understand a word of it. She was in the late 70s, early 80s. So.
Now you want to send some messages to Brazilian hitchhikers.
What can I say? What can I say? Well, I'm just so glad that everybody's enjoying Hitchhikers. It's very humbling to us, and that he's writing and his influence has gone so far.
And still go.
And still going, but sadly no new material, which is the biggest thing that I think people find difficult.
Yeah.
But I'm very pleased that everybody out there is enjoying it, and I'm just so pleased that you guys could come over. That's absolutely brilliant. It really is. It's absolutely
Having
brilliant.
a really, really good time.
Oh, good.
People are so nice, and all the things you never can find in Brazil.
Yeah.
So it's really, really cool.
You go back and spread the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
42.
Absolutely. Thank you so.
You're very
thank you for your
welcome.
time.
Thank you. Thank you.